We are recording.
Okay, we'll call the Forestville Town Board monthly meeting to order on Monday, October 17th at 6:30. Roll call, please.
Brian Engelbert,
Present.
Larry Huber,
Here.
Jason Klahach,
Here.
Tina Schmidt here. I'm Ruth Kirscher, and we have Brenda Schimmen and Mark Vanden Houten and Chuck Schley present.
Okay, thank you. Has the agenda been properly
Yes.
noted?
Yes, it has.
Okay. With that, motion to approve the agenda would be in order.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second that.
Motion by Jason, second by Larry. Any further changes? I don't think we have to do anything here, so. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Next, we have the minutes of September 21st.
I reviewed them and to be in order. Accurate recording of the meeting. I make a motion to adopt them and approve them.
I accept. Second.
Motion by Larry, second by Jason to approve the minutes with no changes. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next, we have the treasurer's report. Dina?
In the cemetery checking, we have $48.43. In the cemetery perpetual care, we have $11,180.23. Cemetery savings, we have $2,342.88. Town checking, we have $1,433.04. Money market, we have $27,462.45. And the LGIP general, we have $181,195.59. And we still have the ARPA money of $111,823.14.
Make no receivable.
Nope,
And that includes that latest check for the. Just for the
Cemetery.
yes, that was included in here.
And it's split, correct?
Yes, it is split. Yep. I think it should be on the first page.
Yeah, I see 450, but.
Oh, but yeah, it's split. It's split. I don't know why it does that. It won't show you
300
that.
It's 300 for the grave site and.
Yeah, it's
150
actually-
perpetual care.
It's actually split in the
It
transaction.
is,
Oh,
I
okay.
noticed that.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
Yep.
But
but I don't know why they don't, it says split, but it never shows you. Oh,
Right.
here, see how it says split right here?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
That's why I asked the question.
Yeah.
You didn't see the breakdown. Okay. Make a motion to accept it.
I second.
Motion by Larry, second by Jason to accept the treasurer's report. Any further questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Next, we have correspondence. Ruth, do you have any correspondence?
No, I do not, other than talking to Terry McNulty about Legion would like to put a 10 by 12 shed on the property. And also the Lions Club, you mentioned something about they want to put flowers or something around the flagpole area, but there's also a bush there. So that was the only thing that I have.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I have a few things in the month of November. On November 5th, there's going to be a hazard waste collection event. Larry, you might want to put that on our website.
It is.
It is already
It is
on our website.
Very good, very good. So that came through. Another item that we're going to be talking about is that next month, our letter to the citizens goes out. And Mariah Good has asked that we put a couple things on in that letter. And so if you see anything that you'd like to add down on the bottom of the letter, it's asking to put in our letter the requirements for because we're got Door County zoning that the citizens should be aware of placement of construction of most structures, sheds, regardless of size or permits, require permits. And tree cutting, trimming, or other vegetation removal along the shoreline. Well, we don't have any shoreline, but yes, that would include the Hennepin River area. And so I'll put that in there. If you can think of anything else, we probably should put a listing of our own permits required by the town.
Would it be advantageous to if this was on the ad, on the website?
I think so. I think that's good information.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it'd be beside the letter.
So you're gonna include this, you're not gonna include this in your
Yeah.
chair, you're gonna include that in your chair?
Sure, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I'll put that in the chair plus our permits, talking about permits for 2023.
Okay,
You might also mention the fact that they're now can be
And
Online.
online.
Now, we'll talk more about that.
Okay. So that's,
because we'll have to have that done by the last
We'll work
third
on
week
that
of
tonight.
November, I think.
third week of November. Okay,
The
so we'll-
newsletter. We have to have it printed and everything
Okay,
into
so
the company.
by the 15th of the month, we better have
Yes.
anything for you.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
15th of-
If not the 10th,
Yeah,
The 10th.
because I have to get it to the printer yet
okay. You have to have it by the 10th.
by the 10th of November,
Okay.
I would say.
Okay.
This other stuff was on, you had that conversation about the securing the voting machine, that was in the world.
Yes, yeah,
Pursuing that, we're still working on it.
we're still working on that, yes, yep. And there's also Larry, I don't know if you see this one, but to municipal heads of government, there is a program yet for contaminated wells to, for the DNR will accept applications until funding runs out. Did you, everybody see that email?
I seen it somewhere. I don't remember.
Yeah, I recall reading the email, I don't have it. But that's a continuing funding program.
Right. So
It's for closing wells, right?
closing wells
Or
drilling,
re-drilling,
drilling.
Oh, really?
depending on your income level,
Mhm.
there's some
Mhm.
grant money.
There's
Okay.
some grant money for that, so, yeah. Maybe that's AERP, well compensation and well abatement is what that program's all about. Also, as usual for our garbage pickup right now for September, our base was $16.23 and our fuel surcharge was $1.48. So the monthly charge for September is $17.71. Now, we were quite fortunate with our garbage is that many municipalities had their contract where they had a fuel surcharge started at $2. Our fuel surcharge starts at $4. So we got a little benefit on that. So they have a pretty healthy one on that. So that's the information I can give you for the garbage right now. That's all I have. Anybody else have anything else? Okay, well, that brings us to the Southern Door referendum information for Brenda and Mark. So
All right, hi.
if you introduce yourself again.
Absolutely. My name is Brenda Shinman. I'm a middle school principal, but I'm also the K-12 curriculum director at Southern Door. And we're here tonight to kind of talk about both the questions and then answer any questions that you have as well regarding the referendum. So I'll let Mark introduce himself and then I'll talk about the questions.
Yep, Mark Vandenhoutsen, elementary principal at Southern Door. And one of our goals for this, we want to make it very informal. So if you have questions, just like we're sitting around the campfire or something, having dialogue back and forth.
Yeah,
So
feel free to ask any questions. So we did bring a visual for you here this evening. And we want to talk about, there's really two major questions that are on the ballot. The first question is really asking for $975,000. And that's, if you remember 3 years ago, everyone supported a referendum at that point in time of $975,000 also. We were able to use that money at that time to upgrade. We've upgraded all our ELA and our math. And now we were just finishing up our social studies and we also did science already, all our resource adaptations so that teachers had up-to-date materials. Since then, we're also working on, these are maintaining our programs. It's taking a look at professional development. This is probably the most important question that we really need support from our community on. The second question is also an important one, and I'll have Mark talk about the financial portion of it so that you can kind of understand that one as well. But we're looking for 14.9 million, and that one is in a capital improvements. And if you take a look, we're looking at upgrading the 2 art rooms. Those are in their original condition from 1973. So we really could use some upgrades there. Our district office would be relocated, so providing a lot more parking. So one of the things that we hear about all the time is that there's not enough parking spaces. If you've ever come for Grandparents' Day, or if you've ever come for any event that's at the school, like at the auditorium, it just seems like there's never enough parking. So we would add 77 new parking spots along this area here. With the relocation of the district office here, this would be where the current Talent Fitness Center is. And therefore, we need to relocate the Talent Fitness Center over here. This is a multi-purpose facility. We're hoping that as a community, you'd be able to utilize that for walking, for when it's, you know, cold outside, we can hold, like the middle school can walk from here to here to have indoor recess. Those types of things are going to help us. We're also looking at, there's an upgrade right through here that would be in our family and consumer sciences area for middle school, and then the high school family consumer sciences as well. So those would maintain our programs. Right now, this year, we weren't able to offer a family consumer science class. Most of you probably maybe remember it as home ec. I know that's what it used to be called when I went there. And so we couldn't even have it because the kitchens are not up to code. The electrical plugins are like right next to where you turn on the water and everything else. So things just are beyond, you know, repair to the point. So we'll talk about the tax index shortly. Both questions actually help out the district in different ways. And we can talk about the money, but the money can't be mixed between operational and capital. So it'd be nice to say it's all one lump sum, but we can't do that. We have to, by law, make sure that question one really is maintaining programs, keeping teachers up to date, paying for teachers and retaining those teachers. And then the second one is really for all our capital construction and improvements. So I'll have Mark talk to them about like, what's the importance related to your taxes.
So can I just have,
Yeah.
what
absolutely.
is the enrollment? I mean, is the enrollment?
Yeah, we're up this year. We're up to, I think, 1103. So last year was like 996. So we've been up this year.
Okay.
And then our 4K numbers were at about 80 students this year. We were at about 72 last year. And then our kindergarten numbers are up as well. So both our 4K and kindergarten programs are quite a bit up from where they were a few years ago.
Any other questions about that so far?
I'm just curious, so doing all this and wondering where, if we were
Yeah.
going down.
Yep, good question. Very good question.
So my biggest thing that I really want to kind of get the thing across with this is that we have two very different questions. Question one and question number two. Question number one, I don't like using this word, but I almost have to use it, is an absolute must for us. Obviously with inflation, with some our state aid being cut, some other things as well, we absolutely need this to be able to maintain our services. It's not a luxury that we're after. I grew up in Brussels. I live in Brussels. So when I had this conversation with my parents, my dad made the comment, right or wrong, and he thought, you know what, you're asking for 975,000. You probably only need 500. You're rounding up to kind of pad it a little bit. That's actually the opposite. If we're being completely honest, this dollar amount should be well above $1 million. So why are we only doing 975? There are two reasons for that. First reason is just mentally, whenever you get above $1 million, it makes people a little uneasy. And again, I'm going back, we absolutely have to make this go through. So that's why we did the amount we did. The second reason is back in July, you should have received a survey in the mail asking if you would support this kind of thing. And at the time, we did ask for 875,000. Overwhelmingly, it came back in favor of it. So in hindsight, we were like, you know what, should we switch it and go back for what we really need? But we decided against that for the reason being, we surveyed the community back in July. They said they would support it, and officially, we don't want to switch it on them at the last minute. This is what we asked for. This is what we surveyed. So this is what we're going forward with. But this amount, like I said, is an absolute necessity for us. I'm not going to get into what may or may not happen if it doesn't go through, but we really need this to go through. Any questions kind of on that first one, question number one? And again, this is basically renewing what we currently have in place that got approved by voters 3 years ago.
It's the same thing, right?
Yeah.
It's the same
Okay.
amount, yeah.
In the handout, like I said, it has kind of the graph of like other schools in the area. I like to use Searching as an example, comparable in size, comparable budget, that kind of thing. They're at about a $3 million question number one thing. Gibraltar, who's a lot smaller than us, I believe it's 7 million. almost
Reoccurring, yeah.
Reoccurring.
So ours is not, we still come back to the voters to ask all the time and to give you as much up-to-date information, whereas Gibraltar is reoccurring, which they don't even have to come back to their voters anymore.
But they voted on that, right?
Correct. They
So
initially
way
voted
back.
on that, absolutely.
Where ours is 3 years, if it's approved today, and we get 100% of the vote, no matter what, it's gonna go away in 3 years.
Yep.
So that's question number one. Any other questions about that first one? So the second one, this is kind of the big conversation one in the community, $14.9 million. It's definitely a larger one. It's something that people will notice. Well, there's a couple of different things like Brenda talked about, updating the art rooms, the home ec rooms, that kind of stuff. All original stuff from 1873. Not a lot of argument there. We'd be adding a bus garage as well. We are one of the few districts, we maintain our own fleet. We found that we're a lot more efficient. It's a lot more cost effective to do everything ourselves, including all the maintenance that we can possibly do. One of the negatives right now, our current bus garage, we physically can't even fit a bus in there. So when it talks about doing work and that kind of stuff in the winter, this would help us to do some of that stuff as well. The septic system, everybody knows in Door County having high quality sewers, and not sewers, but holding tanks and that kind of stuff is critical. We have the original septic stuff out there yet. So we're hoping to kind of proactively kind of make sure our maintenance is done, and even relocate those potentially to a different area so we can stay on top of that.
And just to clarify on that, we just want to make sure that we're real clear to people that it's not replacing the entire septic system. We're gonna have to phase this in over time because it is a very large expense. But yet it does make sense, like at your house, you keep up on things that are like longer term things, but you kind of don't necessarily replace, if everything's working right, you know, you keep those things working, but at some point in time, you know that 20-year-old water heater is gonna go and you gotta replace it, right? So that's what we're slowly starting is just a relocation of our septic and an upgrade and a portion of it.
So then the bigger ticket items, so like this indoor practice facility that Brenda shared earlier, it's about a little over $6 million for it. That is the one that I can be very transparent. That is kind of a want and a wish item. I'm going to explain why we have it on here. Again, compared to question one, that's an absolute necessity in that case. Why are we doing this? Well, for a couple of different reasons. Number one, it would give our students a place to go where they can run around, be active during the winter months when it's cooler. Our spring sports season, so track, baseball, softball, it will give them an area where they can kind of go in a different area and still do a lot of the activities that they would normally like to do. If this is approved, as Brenda said, there would be a kind of a trickle down effect. Our current talent fitness center would all get moved into this area that would remain open to the community use for anybody who's interested. And then our district office would get moved to the current talent fitness center. District office would go away and we would add about 75 parking spots, which would be a big deal. And like I said, that is about a little over $6 million for that portion of the project. So why are we doing this? To be honest, we're kind of caught with the state funding formula, how it is currently right now. For me at home, my wife and I, we try to pay off our debts right away because we don't like having bills. I would imagine a lot of you are the very same way, get them paid off and ready to go. Unfortunately, with the state funding formula and how we receive revenue, we're actually kind of penalized by the state of Wisconsin for that. And that goes back to our mill rate up here. Again, our mill rate is what we charge residents in order to kind of secure funding. And that's at $8.71 this year. When we do not have debt, because we prepaid a lot of our debt, it actually lowers our mill rate. What does that mean? If question 2 doesn't go through, your taxes are going to go down. Just point blank, your taxes are going to go down. We're not going to be able to collect as much money, which makes this first question even more critical in that aspect, because it'll almost be outdated. But why is this really important for us? If we don't have control over the mill rate, the money that we can receive from tax dollars is going to go up and down substantially every year. And that makes it very, very difficult to plan in the budget for everything at school. For example, if we have a surplus one year, we may be able to add additional things, we may be able to add staff, whatever it might be. But then the following year, if that revenue goes down, now we have to cut people. So all the training, all the PD, everything we did, they're now all going to a different district. A year or two later, if funds go back up, now we have to rehire all those people again. So it just helps us to budget, plan, and be very, very responsible to have control over that. So because we pay down the debt, we actually have this little opportunity right now where we can add all this, and it would not change our mill rate at all. It would stay exactly the same. I don't want to use the word this is going to be a free addition, because obviously you and myself and everybody else would be paying for it, but our tax rate would not change at all, at least with the mill rate.
Now,
Yeah.
one thing we want to add though is that would not depend on, for example, if you were reassessed and your taxes, the assessment of your home went up. That obviously may reflect that your taxes go up. However, we can say that we can at least guarantee that the mill rate here, 871, would stay the same. Does that make sense?
Yeah. We have an assessment going on in Forestville that you're aware of, or anytime soon. I think Brussels are getting close.
And Gardner's in the next years.
Yeah, we're gonna be reassessed in the next.
Couple of years or
2 years.
something.
Yeah.
I lost my train of thought.
I'm
I
sorry.
apologize. No,
So in essence, really, it's both questions would really not affect the mill rate.
Correct.
But if the second question were not to pass, the mill rate would go down, but that would then have a negative effect on your operational budget, even if if the
Correct.
first question were to pass.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
that is
Yeah,
correct.
it would have a negative effect
It
on
would.
operations.
Then
Yes.
you're paying down the debt.
Because you have, correct, the more
right.
you pay down the bent. And then
Right.
again, we get into what Mark explained about that variable mill rate rather
Right.
than a steady mill rate.
Yeah.
So I think, Mark, where you were headed next is the other thing about why we want to be able to put in that, and what we want to be a destination district. We want to be a place where people want to come to our district, and there's no other facility like this in Door County anywhere.
So, yes, thank you. So can we do it? So this facility, like you said, it's a nice shiny thing. We would love to have it, but here's one of the cases that I think would really be worthwhile for everybody. Currently, for every student that we have at Southern Door in any district in the state of Wisconsin, we get roughly $10,000 per student if they come to Southern Door. So if that student were to come for kindergarten through 12th grade, that's 13 years it would be in our district. Quick math, that means over that 13 years, we'd get 130,000 for that student. Why am I sharing that number? Using 6 million for this kind of add-on, because that's the conversational one. If we can add 3.5 kindergarten students per year, and they stay with us for all 13 years, right at about $6 million, it would pay for itself. And here's what I'm going to say is critical as well, the timing of it. They're kind of following things going on in Sturgeon Bay, in addition to the fleet farm that's going in right now. There's about 150 apartment units that are being added right in that area by Target in the Cylinder district right now. I don't know where those kids are going to go, because Sturgeon Bay is 2 miles down the road from them. But let me make up a number. 150 units, let's pretend 50 of them have kids. and just making up a number. And if each one of those 50 has 2 kids, that's 100 kids that are potentially on the table right now. At 10,000 a kid, that's almost $1 million we could potentially bring in. That's why it's key right now that we can attract those kids right now for this. The
Because they're
number-
kind of in that borderline area where they could choose to ride the bus and come to Southern Door, or they can open a roll out where we would lose money, and you gotta have things. You know, we always say, you still have to have some shiny toys, right, that look attracting, and yet we're responsible yet with the money that we have in order to be able to try and have all this stuff.
Like I said, 3.5 kids, if I can add that for kindergarten for the next 13 years, it will pay for itself. Let's pretend I can get 4 kids instead of 3.5. That's $1 million extra dollars we bring in. So like I said, is this an investment? Is that shiny thing that we may or may not need right now? That's a very fair statement. However, it gives us the opportunity where we don't have to come back with question 1 every year, and we can make ourselves a destination district where people want to come to us, with this being one of the reasons, not the only reason, but one of the reasons why people may want to send their kids to us.
The only thing that I would add is just to make sure that you understand that the question 1 is for 3 years.
Mhm.
So we wouldn't have to come back every year, but to come back, you know, potentially in 3 years, just so that you're aware of that.
We do have an open house at Southern Door next week, Monday. Otherwise, you can reach out to any of us at Southern Door. We'd be more than happy to show you around, physically show you where everything would
give
be,
you a
some of the
tour.
upgrades and that kind of stuff.
What's gonna happen with your old bus garage?
That'd be repurposed for storage and
Okay,
something
okay.
along that line.
And then your new bus garage is basically how big then it? It doesn't say how big it is, it's
Just
just
basically room for one
bus to be
So-
maintained.
Yeah, so like if they, for example, if they need to do, like, a lot of times they do the
Oil
oil filter
changes,
changes by themselves. So they'll be able to at least put it in the
Mhm.
middle of winter and not be laying on the ground and trying to do the oil change, you know.
You don't service that out to?
For the
like,
most part,
no.
we do it
oh,
ourselves.
Unless it's rural high end, we have a very good maintenance staff and
Okay.
simply put, we can do it a lot more efficiently on our own.
Right.
The other clarification with that bus garage, this is a tentative location. We did not pay to have high-end
Right.
engineers to determine if we're better to do it here or there or something, but we'll be in that area someplace.
Yeah, we did have a very good question at one of our meetings. It was like, why would you put the bus garage way over here when you have to run a tunnel for electricity and all that stuff? Well, we said, great question, like,
Mhm.
give us more information or feedback, because this is not like set in stone, it's going here. So we'll have to figure out using some people who have.
So what are you
Okay.
losing right there with that new facility?
The
'Cause-
bus garage.
No, the other one,
So right
'cause there
here,
was
there's,
something there.
yeah, right here, there's an old discus pit. And
Oh, gotcha.
then also right here's the start of where they have the mound
The
system,
mound
the very
systems are back
first
there, yeah,
mound
yeah.
system, which is the reason why we have to relocate that mound
Okay.
system. And then we did have this in general looked at to see if this was a relocatable place, and it is for the septic, so.
Okay.
And it actually is shorter to where the pump. You're gonna
Right.
tell me the pump is to go to
Yeah.
the
it's-
septic, so.
Mark, you used to figure the in and out as far as open enrollment. What was it, what was past year, 20, or it's right now, 22-23 season? Did we lose students or do we gain students this
In
year?
the elementary school, I'm up quite a bit, so I'm positive in a good way. So, and I literally went through line by line to see the
Mhm.
elementary kids that we did lose. And the vast majority of them are on County U and, right by the ship canal, basically in that area. There's only a handful, and kind of knowing a lot of the families, a lot of them were kind of split family reasons where dad may live here, mom may live in Sturgeon Bay, but we really are in a great spot with the elementary school.
Middle and high school, I can tell you that you probably remember, I want to say 6 years ago, the referendum didn't pass.
I like 10
6 to 8
votes.
years ago,
Mhm.
6 years, that it didn't pass. And so we actually had a lot of families that were kind of a little frustrated that it didn't, and actually open enrolled to Sturgeon Bay. We were able to recoup and get some of those families back. But not every family, and then kind of once you get reestablished, the other trend that we see is that if you go to, for example, St. John Bosco, all your years. Sometimes they come back for high school at Southern Door, and sometimes they go to Sturgeon Bay because depending on their friend groups. So
I think I had Madison's group, maybe
Mhm.
about fifth grade when that happened. I remember there's some great families in there, but probably 6 or 7 of them that left immediately after the referendum. So
Right.
with that being a big reason. So just reality, everybody wants to be a part of the winning team, winning district, et cetera. And when the community is behind them, especially in a public way like a referendum, people want to be a part of that as well.
Yeah, this year's senior class of 2022 was one of the smallest ones, what, 72 graduated, I believe?
This past year,
Yeah,
yeah, it was a
really-
smaller class,
Really
you're
light-
right.
light class, so that's why we're wondering about enrollment going on.
Yeah,
One
Yeah.
thing I'm very excited about, I was able to connect with some other elementary principals in Door County, and they were very concerned about 4K numbers. They asked how I was doing, I said, well, right at about 80 of them. Another district is only at about 52, when they're normally at the 80 range. Another one was only at 20, and they're normally 30 or 40. So I don't know where the 4K kids are, but we're in a very good spot with that, so.
You might not have many 4K kids.
Correct.
In the, I mean, those families just aren't as big as what they used to
And I'm
be.
also gonna go back, so like I said, we have a elementary school in a very good spot for open enrollment. We always want to be better. We never want to lose any kids, but we're in a very good spot with open enrollment. Between our before school program that starts at 6 a.m., the after school program that goes until 5:30, we're actually very, very attractive for a lot of parents because you can bring your kids early, you can pick them up later while you go to work, even if you're in Green Bay, etc. You don't have to find childcare, you don't have to find somebody to keep an eye on your kids. We can help support them in that aspect, and that is drawing a number of people as well. Plus having the full day 4K Monday through Friday.
I just have a question. So I know some schools do a 3K. And it might be more special,
Keyword,
special
yeah.
3K.
Yeah.
Did Southern Door ever have that?
We have,
we
so
forever had, a 3K program, we call it the early childhood program.
Yes.
And I've been in administration for 10 years now, and it's always been there. We've always had some kind of a 3K program. Typically, it's so we run our screenings. So we run the once a month, we run our screenings, and anybody who has a child who is turning 3 can have their child evaluated to see if they would benefit from basically going into the early childhood program.
Okay, so you do kind of have it.
Mhm.
Yeah, you just, okay.
Yep.
I think kind of what you're referring to, so having been in the private school for a couple of years at St. Mary's and Luxembourg, Holy Trinity Casco. I know St. John Bosco has an in Sturgeon Bay, they have a full day 3K, very similar to a 4K program. We currently do not have that in place, but like I said, we're always looking to listen to the needs of the community and kind of go from there. That's where the after school program and before school program came from.
Was there any consideration of having 2 or 3 referendums, one for 6 million, another one for 8 million, was it rather than batch the whole thing to 14.9? Was there any consideration that, but I'm referring to moving the administration building over into the gym area? Was there any?
I think it had a little bit 2 things. I think one, it was how much would it be to maintain the mill rate
Okay,
at 871? But the other thing is there's a little bit of a trickle effect happening here. So if the district office comes down, we have to relocate them somewhere. The only other location that is like a large kind of office space that's kind of like where the public would easily know where the district office is, would have been this town and fitness area.
Mhm.
Well, then if you lose the town and fitness, you gotta put that somewhere. So it's kind of like a trickle effect, but I think really the big fun, thing was to maintain the 871.
The plan is more efficient. I can see that where you move your admin office to the Talon room,
Mhm.
you actually eliminated that building. So that's actually a good thing. You have separate, you don't have a whole other
Right,
electrical and furnace and everything running out of the building. So you actually
Correct.
get in one location.
what is nice too is also the people that are working in this, it's much more accessible for them if they have, directions, meetings,
Right.
those kind of things. Plus, if anybody wants to go in, they can stop in and see the superintendent at any time.
The other thing, we're only
I don't know
not
if I want to do
100,
that.
I'm about 95% positive with this at 100. We're only allowed to go to do so many referendum questions within a calendar year. I think it may be 2 questions in a year. So we're only allowed to ask 2 questions this year. We're not allowed to do a third one. technically, just for example, we could go back and ask 2 more in spring,
Mhm.
but then we would not be able to do one again for another full year. So I think we're only allowed 2 per calendar year.
That could be.
So that's why we only did 2.
Now, this year right now is one of the largest years for school districts asking for money, this 2022.
Yeah, they haven't changed the school funding formula at all whatsoever, and because we're land rich, we kind of tend to be at a little bit of a, a deficit in trying to function, with all your schools, so.
Oh, I try to explain it very, very higher level. How the funding formula is currently set up is because Southern has a lot of land. If you want more money, have more people move to Southern.
Mhm.
More urban areas, I'm using Green Bay as an example, they don't have anywhere anybody can live. Because they're full, so we're gonna give them more money in that aspect. So that's very, very higher level, and why a lot of rural districts like Southern are hurt in the formula.
Yeah.
So, any other questions or anything else that you're hearing in the community? Like I said, I just want to end on this, like I said, 2 very different questions. Number 1, the operational is absolutely critical. We're not being greedy with this one. This
This would maintain your programs,
correct.
keeping all your, all your programs. There's gonna have to be something that goes if this doesn't go.
And then the second one, yes, it's a little bit of a shiny object, a wish thing, but as we kind of explained, it allows us to keep the mill rate where it is the same, so we don't have the up and downs. But then it also gives us something that may attract additional students to help with question number 1, in theory with the budget where we have more students coming in.
More parking.
Does anybody have any grandkids in the elementary school right now?
I do.
Are you coming for Grandparents' Day next week, Thursday?
So you'll see how you might be trucking for a while.
We do have another open house on the 24th, but like you said, anything by appointment, just kind of let us know when we make it work.
Yeah, we'd be happy to give
If
tours.
this plan goes through, number 2, when would this all construction start and when would it be finished?
Good
So
question.
within reason, ASAP, obviously we'd have to finalize the planning and designs and that kind of stuff, really going high end. But obviously, we don't want to be doing heavy construction in the building during the school year. So in summer, we would get going on that as soon as we can. This outdoor area, because this is critical, it has to get done first. I'm sure they would start on that as soon as they can. Because they can't do anything with the Talent Fitness Center until this is done. Can't move the district office until that's done.
That's done.
So the last
Yeah.
thing would be. the
Parking.
Well, the goal would be to get going.
How sure are you on that question of 14.9 million?
So working with like Myron and Braid, they do this a lot more than we do. So with all their contractors and vendors, they were able to project out with inflation and that kind of stuff, that they would be very comfortable within that number. There will be some opportunities for some savings as well, because so that was under the assumption that they would be doing all the work. Obviously, the big heavy duty stuff, they're absolutely gonna do it. But for the art rooms, home ec rooms, somebody like Portside or some other local vendors, they could probably go in and do it for a far lesser cost.
I would say that our superintendent is really pretty dedicated, at least looking in and exploring the options of definitely keeping as much like of the construction stuff local as possible. Like supporting the businesses that are here.
But what we're finding out on the county level is that a very simple addition comes in at 259,000. Before they start, it's now 360,000, 100,000, that's 1/3 more. Saying that was just for a little maintenance garage for facilities. That same thing is happening all over, that what you think is gonna be is more money and,
Yeah,
So I don't-
again, we have to rely on,
Yes, but-
Myron for giving us the estimation so that we know about where we can.
but you don't have a design, you didn't go up to an engineer and get a design plan yet. You don't have a design, did you establish your needs and get a design plan and everything right now?
So I don't have the exact question, but I know they have a formula for like per square
Per
foot.
square
and that's
foot,
what
yeah.
they're kind of going
Yeah.
with.
They have like a general layout about what this might look like. So that it's not, so like, for example, specifically, they know the square footage here. How much additional asphalt, they know how much it's gonna take to demolish that, so I think they're doing as much,
They know
work as
this
they
is gonna be,
can.
I think, eight offices, 2 conference rooms, that kind of stuff. So there is a more than what are we
more
gonna
than
do with
just
it?
a general estimate, because we've been all asked about like what specifics. They like the family and consumer ed, there's 6 kitchens, 1 demonstration, so like. Those types of things have been, established or talked about or discussed.
When you look at the parking area, it looks like about a quarter mile of blacktop. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That could be pretty costly.
yeah, yeah.
But again,
Easier to
like
snowplow.
everything else, the sooner you buy it,
Yeah.
the sooner you do it, better off you're going to be. And now would be a good time, because the prices just are gonna
It's very
continue to
good.
go.
Very
You
good.
know, a neighboring district kind of in the area that tried to do an auditorium a number of years ago, and it's not approved year one, it would have been about $4 million. They went back 2-3 years later and ended up being about $9 million.
Sure.
They get it to go through for
Yeah.
basically the exact same. thing.
So does a plan like this have to go through an environmental impact on this one or no? Or is this like something that's already been pre-established? It's not like you're digging up wetland or nothing, but.
Correct.
it's-
And I'm not an expert, but obviously anything with like the sewer system, that kind of stuff, all the
It all
permits and
has to
everything.
go past, county permits. I think we just look at it as this a great opportunity where we can maintain that, and still be able to get the things that we would want for upgrades within the school district, for opportunities for kids, really.
Very good.
Thank you.
Very good questions. Anything else?
This is gonna be on YouTube, what, day after tomorrow?
Maybe even tomorrow.
All right,
And if, like I said, anybody in the community has any questions or any rumblings, please feel free to kind of pass on our contact information, or we can kind of reach out to them as well and give them the information they need.
Okay, good.
So,
thank
Okay,
you.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Brenda.
Yep. If you don't mind, we're gonna speak to our.
Ready to?
Would it be permissible for me to scan this? and
Yes, you
post
may.
that on the website?
Yes, you may.
and we also have a number of things on our district website as well. There's a specific referendum tab.
Oh, well, maybe I'll link to that, make it easier.
And then
We have a couple of videos as well that are currently out there, and that will be released.
Okay,
we share the link on our social media as well and then get that out there.
I don't,
Social media. Huh? Did you ever watch YouTube? They have ads.
Yes.
Commercial ads right now. Yeah. Very
Have a
good.
good night.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and now we move on to the Southern Door Fire Department report. Let's pass this information out.
first time I saw water. It's not, oh, yeah, maybe it's September 7th, huh?
Oh. Crazy out there.
Okay.
And this was presented on September 8th. Presented on,
It's addressed to, the town boards.
we have never received that.
I never saw. it.
No,
No,
This is first
That's
time.
why
I've
you're
seen
getting
it.
it tonight.
yeah, yeah.
They only send them to the fire board.
Mhm.
Being addressed to the town board, but it was sent given only to the fire board.
With the expectations that the fire board, having representatives from each municipality, would get it to
6 weeks later.
To the town board.
the town board.
Okay. A month later. Okay, whatever.
Would have been nice if they'd have sent it right to you guys, but they didn't choose to do that.
Okay,
Thank you.
we got a call from Myron Johnson today that he had a call from Terry McNulty, wanted to get together, but Terry McNulty never called me and I never got a call back.
He was supposed to,
Who was supposed to?
McNulty was supposed to call you,
Well, you never did know.
well,
Oh.
okay. We've got to get together. Well, let's start out with Stephanie Jurgensen has taken the place of Dave Miller. Dave Miller retired from the
Okay,
board
from Village of Forestville.
from Village of Forestville. She's taken over for him and she's gonna be our new secretary.
Okay.
We've gone The first appraisal for the building in Nassau came in from McMahon and Associates out of Green Bay. I never heard of them, but they're out of Green Bay. They do things like that. 210,000. The board felt that we should get our own appraisal for the building. So we got Bordolini out of Kiwanee. And his appraisal was 295,000.
Okay.
So we're gonna have to get together and work out a amicable plan, agreement as to what we're gonna use as an appraisal number. They also had an appraisal for the equipment they want to buy. And that, there doesn't seem to be anyone in northeastern Wisconsin that does appraisals on fire trucks. So they went with Pierce, the manufacturer, and Marion, also another manufacturer. Okay, and I don't have that in front of me. Okay, we are gonna do the same thing. We're looking for someone to do it. It'll probably be just get an idea from somebody else. So we're working on that.
So those first two appraisals at the facility?
Building.
Say what?
Those two first appraisals,
That was for the buildings.
that's for the facility.
That was for the facility.
Thank you.
Now, they own the land underneath the facility, but Southern Door Fire owns the building.
Okay. Okay.
We have to rewrite the bylaws. This is where we're gonna need help from the other municipalities. We're gonna have to get together. Look at the bylaws. The bylaws have been upgraded a little bit over the last 2 years to reflect, oh, you guys have copies of that?
I have a copy.
You do, okay.
I have a copy.
I have not seen.
How about the
that.
working,
It was just changing,
yeah,
wording. They and,
the wording from 1980 doesn't wash today.
Him, her, them, they.
yeah.
Oh, that's what I
Yeah,
said.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
We're gonna have to rewrite the operating agreement. And when the operating agreement was written first, 1984, I think, no, had to be 1980. When the bylaws were written. They had 4 or 5 board municipality board members, you guys. They sat down and it took them a long time. And they wrote the operating agreement. Do you have a copy of that? The operating, okay, good. Then you know that they had a provision in there that if Nassau, they were thinking ahead. And maybe Nassau would pull out over a period of time. So they wrote that in there in the operating agreement about Nassau pulling out and what would have to be done. Now, they've been paying 70% of the tax levy. So it's in the operating agreement that when they pull out, they pay 30% of the fair market value of the building and the equipment they're buying. Make sense, I hope?
They did, it was what, 12 years ago, 10, 12 years ago, they were only paying a little over 60%. But over the years, it's gone up because their assessed valuation went up a lot more than ours.
Yes, this year, you looked at the thing I gave you, 202, they've had to pay 290,000
Yeah,
this
yeah,
year.
no. Yeah, that was the assessed valuation.
And that brings up, you know, kind of hard to just let $290,000 go. We're gonna have to make some of that up somewhere. Now, granted, we will be saving a lot of money in insurances. we're gonna save money with them leaving, but not nearly 290,000 worth. We've already talked with the firefighters that they're gonna have to tighten their belts a little bit. They're not gonna get everything they want like they have in the past. Nassau did not want the new truck because it wasn't geared to their needs. That's part of the reason they pulled out. They didn't have, it's the old taxation without representation kind of thing. They weren't,
they gonna get the new truck though?
they were,
Yeah.
but
They don't want
nobody,
it.
no, huh, what?
They don't want it.
Now they don't want it, no, because not geared for their needs. It never was actually geared for Nassau-Waupke's needs. It was kind of shoved down their throat. Not by the board.
Is there any consideration? See, there's 10 fire districts, now there will be 11.
Yeah.
And there will be 10 of them operating one way, and Southern Door operates completely different,
Yeah.
completely separate.
Yeah.
Is there any consideration, any talk about going like the other 11 are going to be organized? That is, they're part of a town, they're part of the town. They're not a separate unit like they are right now. And I asked that question of Myron Johnson, why was it operated? Why did it go that way back in 1980? And he couldn't give me an answer. He was around in 1981.
Yes, he was, yeah.
When that was done. And
I can't give you an answer either, 'cause I
Yeah.
don't- it's never been talked about,
they didn't talk about that reorganization.
no.
Apparently, maybe one reason is there was 4 municipalities, and now we're back down to 3.
Yeah.
And other municipalities each have their own, so.
We're gonna have to get the lawyers involved.
Oh, definitely, yes,
I
yeah,
mean, there's, we're not that sharp
yeah.
to be able to do that. Who is the lawyers for the town of Forestville?
Tyler Puff, Pinker.
Okay,
Club.
okay.
Yeah.
We
Tyler.
want to stay away from anything local. We just think we should go out of the area for lawyers.
Well, we have 2 lawyers that are part, what was the name that we had that we used out of Fond du Lac?
Yeah,
Oh, you mean, when we had that other lawsuit,
Yeah,
but that was through rural.
It was through
rural, but
yeah.
he's still a municipality lawyer.
True.
There's 2 of them, that are municipality attorneys. And,
Can we go to the Towns Association?
no,
On this case?
Would,
no,
through Bay Lake?
we could,
Billy Plain.
but see that we do have expertise in Door County. You know, your head of your firemen out of, I can see his face.
Chris?
Heck, yeah.
Chris Heck out of Sister Bay.
Yes, there's Sister Bay, Chris Heck, you know, he's the one that is on fire department organizations. And then we have an Austin too that is out of Oshkosh area, and he comes up here. And he's, in fact, he works EMS as for county every now and then. But we do have some expertise, people that can,
we're gonna need them.
yeah.
There's no question about that. Another question is who's gonna pay for them?
No, it comes out of the fire department.
Firemen's
And
budget.
it's about, you know, it's,
You guys have enough money for it.
yeah, it's not, it depends how everything works out. If it's gonna be, if it gets completely reorganized, the new department, there's gonna be.
Well, you may look at, different ways of funding it.
CVF or whatever initials we wanna use, you know, for the new department, or keep it Southern Door Fire Department. That's, the municipalities have to get together and talk about
Yes.
it. Yeah,
Municipalities have to get together and talk.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We gotta keep the lines of
Yeah.
communication open,
Yeah.
at least now.
But,
And we, September 1st of 2023 is the end.
I thought it was October 1st. I thought it was 12 months. I thought it was October.
Is it gonna be October? We've been on the premise that it's gonna be September 1st.
Gave you a letter dated September 7th, but it wasn't delivered until the middle of September. And
As of their, it's effective as of the date of your annual meeting.
Yeah,
yeah,
which, well, okay, That would be, basically the end of September.
That's, yeah, basically where you're at.
How does that work now? Because if they pull away, they actually own part of the monies that's currently in the budget that the fire department's operating on. So if they're pulling away, do they take a percentage of that money with them?
I don't know,
That's
The lawyers that we talked to said no.
I would say not, yeah.
We talked to 3 different lawyers from the area.
Yeah.
And they all said the same thing, no, they don't get it.
Well, they're withdrawing from,
Right.
so they're not,
What?
There would be,
they're withdrawing from Southern Door.
Yes,
Pulling
Yeah.
away. Therefore, I would think that would be, the Southern Door Fire Department will retain their operating.
okay,
plans.
that makes sense.
I mean,
So then they
That's
have more
what
than
we
enough
were
money
hoping,
to actually
because that's another
seek
headache.
legal counsel on this. They have it in their coffers.
they should,
They're more than enough.
Yes.
So, yeah.
but the question then would be, you put it out in the amortization schedule. Now, is this, amortization schedule based on your existing loan that you now have?
Yes,
Okay,
had we known they were pulling out, we would not have blacktopped
they're
that area,
understood.
okay? And we would not have ordered
Well-
a new fire truck.
Well, the blacktop was actually budgeted items for the fire department.
But the fire department.
Yeah, it was budgeted, but,
Yeah,
you know,
You have to budget on what you know.
you're right.
And so you
Yeah.
can't go back and undo any of that.
right.
However, what can you do with a new truck? Is it necessary?
One of the questions was brought up, because the truck was gonna be stationed, if you will, in Nassau. Should they be responsible for at least some of the cost of the truck? Nobody knows that either.
What's the cost to get out of that contract?
Pardon me?
What would it cost to leave that contract to purchase the truck?
Right
And
now, I don't know, because the truck is,
not ready to be delivered, so.
No.
They haven't even built it yet.
but it's in the building process.
Well, but the question is, if it's not necessary, you have no place to house it.
Well, we got a place to house it,
Well,
but it's just, well, 685,000
right,
for the truck.
is that necessary? Is that truck necessary? Without Nassau in the mix?
With what they're getting, what they're gonna take, yeah, it's necessary. They're taking at least 3 trucks,
Okay,
but the brand new one is not one of them.
but it was more geared to the needs of Southern Door, the remaining 3 municipalities.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And
Answer
again,
to
how
the
much to pull out, Larry, I can't give you that. We never even discussed that.
Well, and wouldn't be necessary. If you're losing equipment that you would have normally depended upon, therefore you need to have the new truck. So then the point, you don't have to cancel it if it's coming,
It's coming,
it's needed.
like
Replace it.
next September.
Well, they're not leaving.
September 2023?
Yeah, well, they're not leaving till.
That's how long, again, from what I'm told, that's how long it takes. We ordered it May 1st or so, April or May,
Well,
a month either way doesn't really matter.
that pretty much gets you on a schedule for building a truck. That doesn't mean the truck's actually being assembled at that moment, so
Yeah, you're in.
it's on the schedule.
But on the other hand, if you're losing equipment that you need.
Right.
And you have a place to put the new equipment, it's coming.
Because they're not
Yeah.
taking any equipment out of the Forestville
Nope.
station.
Just what's at Nassau Station.
So I wonder what the inventory for Forestville is on.
So the Forestville would be gaining an extra piece of equipment.
Forestville would, yeah.
And as long as they still don't have those trucks from 1980 over there, I mean, they should have gotten rid of those years ago. How would a guy find that information out? Go call Richard maybe? And see what's actually in their firehouse and see what, what.
Well, I
trucks they
think
do
that
have?
that's a question that all the 3 municipalities have to get together and
Right.
know for sure. What are we talking about?
Yeah. how many vehicles are we talking?
And how are you gonna fund something going forward without?
Right,
And what are you doing with what you now have or would have after that? So there's a lot of open questions.
Mhm.
The trucks themselves aren't that old. I mean, oh yeah, they're 20 years old, okay, as far as when they were built and purchased, but we're talking 15, 20,000 miles.
Miles isn't where it's at. It's really,
The equipment on the truck.
it's the equipment, your air pack,
Yeah.
the tires, all of the maintenance, the insurance, all of the coverage, all of that.
You're right, absolutely right.
And so that really has to be looked at a little differently.
We've got a good rural mutual, Jason, you know Jason Scheffler? He's very good. He's very, very good. He's helping us with the, somebody to appraise the vehicles in Nassau. I don't think McMahon would deliberately screw us, you know, for lack of a better word, but it's still always nice to have the second opinion.
Mhm.
So that's where we are, ladies and gentlemen, and we're gonna need a lot of help in getting this thing ironed out.
Agreed.
The 20th, I think, is the National meeting. That makes sense? 20th of October?
Their town board meeting,
Yeah,
they usually meet on a Thursday.
okay. Is the 20th a Thursday? 27th, yeah. 27th is a Thursday,
Yeah, 20th is a Thursday and 27th is a Thursday, yeah. They could be meeting this 20th.
so they're gonna meet on the 20th.
Yeah.
I guess some of us are going,
Okay.
just to observe and listen. And again, this, you know, I don't know, you guys probably hear better than we do. There's talk that there's some of the Nassau Town Board members are not running.
I've heard that rumor.
Okay, Joe Lau is supposedly done as their clerk.
And they're going to a 5-board, they're.
Five-member board.
To go with 5 board. So
You think that'll pass?
I have no idea.
You're not gonna make a
No.
one-way decision one way or the other.
No.
Never know with
They have to make
taxpayer,
their
huh?
own, they have to make their own decisions.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
like every other
So-
municipality.
After all of this, they could decide, no, we're not gonna pull away.
See, a year and a half ago, the question was viewed,
Yeah,
and now all the came back.
Yeah.
A year later, came back, yes, here we are, so. Well, it's a little bit frustrating, but yes, we'll get through it, we'll,
oh, we have to.
and, but you're right, you're getting your appraisals, your independent appraisal, that's the right way to do. And Lauren probably will be in contact with an attorney to, if you're gonna get to the sometime in the next few months, that's, after the first year, this gets real serious.
Ooh,
Yes, we might lose electricity.
Incoming.
Yeah. But we might be doing some lumbering tonight.
Well, let's, if we lose electricity, we won't have a complete,
Yeah.
video recording. Oh, I know.
But Chuck, yeah, we'll try to get.
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah, keep what's going on here.
No question about that.
But yes, to answer your question, no, Terry did not get a hold of me.
Well,
And so,
I hate to say this, but I'm not surprised. This is Chuck Fly talking, not talking for the board, I'm just not surprised. So anyway, yeah, in fact, you were one of the first ones he was gonna contact,
what would be?
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, but Roy, you're so hard to work with. Kidding, Roy.
I've been on,
Roy,
I've
I'm kidding.
been home all day Sunday and today.
Well, this was from last Wednesday.
I was home on Saturday, working on town stuff, working Sunday on town stuff, and working today on town stuff.
All day Friday on town stuff.
And Friday too, we were working on that. So, yes, that was very, very, very handy to get hold of.
Sure. And maybe he just got busy doing something else, play devil's advocate and say you got busy doing something else.
Always possible.
yeah, hopefully before the end of the week, which isn't that far. Well, yes, it is quite a while far away, but hopefully by the end of the week, he's gonna be contacting
Okay,
you.
very good. Very good. Anything happening in the work area? I know there was one fire that you responded to an S. That's the only fire I heard about.
We won last night,
One last night?
yeah. Ready for this one? It was an intoxicated man down by the dam,
Oh, boy.
and they called the fire department. And he was 52 years old, and he was belligerent.
Why would they call the fire department?
There you have it.
Wow.
Why would you call the fire department?
Spraying down with cold water, so, no, I don't know, yeah.
They could have called the town supervisor for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was at Sons, was a trailer
Trailer was good.
full of motorcycle parts, and it had a lithium batteries and a
Oh,
thing on,
Solar panel.
whatever, huh?
Solar panel.
Thank you.
mm,
Solar panel on the seal total loss.
Oh.
And then a couple of weeks ago, they had a barn fire by Paul Wallace. You know where that is?
Mhm.
Straight on P there. They have that. I guess that's total loss.
Hmm.
But other than that, been fairly quiet compared to July and August, which was busier.
That was good, yeah.
Busier than BG's.
Okay, thank you much, I guess. That's all we can say.
Yeah, I guess, is right.
Okay. Very good. We'll move on then to the sanitary report.
no, no news.
The only thing I have is that they sent a letter to, in their everyone, that they're going to be raising the rates, effective February 1st of 2023 by 20%.
See that.
Residents going to get charged $90 a month, commercial will be charged $108 a month, and standby will still be half of the rate. And then the water rates will go up also on that, so
When is that effective?
February 1st, 2023. And that's all I have. Larry had a very interesting week.
Larry always has interesting weeks. Yes, we had burial this week. It was a unique circumstance. It was the first time that I've ever had to have the funeral coach onto the grass to service the moving of the casket. It was an Amish casket, and it was heavy oak. And the fellows who were serving as pallbearers struggled a bit to get that onto the car. So in any case, that burial took place, and it was not a very nice day, but there was certainly a lot of people there and some very unique. I never saw a rough box like that one. Stainless steel inside and out.
Wow.
It is amazing.
Well, he was a metal fabricator, so.
Yes, he
You
was.
think that he did that himself?
No.
Polished stainless steel?
Yes.
Or-
It was
polished?
mirrored.
Wow.
It looked like what was looking in a mirror.
Wow.
I'll show you a picture. And what I was told by his daughter was that he didn't like the drawers at home, and he lined them all with stainless steel. And so he's buried in stainless steel rough box. I've never seen anything quite like that. So, for what it's worth, it was an interesting time. We're trying to schedule a cleanup. I do believe the cemetery cleanup is going to occur maybe this week, Sunday, maybe. I don't know. It's going to depend on
On the weather,
availability and weather, quite frankly.
supposed to be nice this weekend. I think.
Mhm, it's
That's
supposed to be
what I
nice this
heard.
weekend.
But then availability is
Mhm,
available
right.
and when. That's what I'm working on. So,
Okay,
and we still have woodchucks down in Brockhouse. They're excavating. I think there's a city down there. I just was amazed.
Running new laterals.
Yeah, they're everywhere over there. It's huge. I think I pointed that out on,
Mhm.
road review. I just cannot believe the excavation that we've had down
How
there.
big are the holes? I mean.
Oh, they're big. I mean, these are big holes. And they're not only just in the cemetery and the edge of the cemetery, they're across the road in the field,
Oh.
right?
Yep.
Did they get a permit? Did they contact you right for a permit?
They must will have to send them out there and have them go out there, animal
Have
control.
somebody arrested.
Go out there and check that out.
I'll check them all.
Anyway,
Thank you, Larry.
yeah, I've been busy in the cemetery department.
Okay, so there's a petition out by Travis Miller, Randy Anderson, and Caitlin Anderson for variance on 3 parcels. What it is, it's 3 lots, and we want to reconfigure the lots. And by reconfiguring the lots, it enables one access to the Highway 42, but then they have to get rid of the other access, so there's still no increase in access. By reconfiguring the lots, it doesn't increase any potential for building more structures. It's still the 2 lots that are going to be owned by, the lot owned by Travis Miller. It will be a square lot, more of a square lot, and also the one by Randy Anderson, more of a square lot, but they can't build anything more on it.
On that, that's on the highway fund.
Yeah, that's right. Well, you,
180 by
Yeah.
whatever.
yeah, you look on this page right here, Larry. This is, yeah, right. So existing 3 lots, and then it's going to the proposed 3 lots, so.
Just reconfiguring the way they're laid out.
Just reconfiguring the way the lots are.
The lot goes to the highway for the people. That's
Yeah.
what they want.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then Kalen's gonna be in the back of it, so they're just, they're not, there's no money exchanging.
They're
hands.
just swapping who owns what.
And right, still 3 lots, and just 1 lot is buildable. And that way Kalen's in, so there's,
So this guy here, this shows it the way it is now, and this is what they're going to have. So this lot is getting
Okay.
become that.
Okay.
This lot will then become all that, and this lot, this is gonna extend, this is gonna extend, and then they're gonna have this back here. So basically, what you're just doing is you're
So they're
moving
gonna
the lot.
inherit the tree line, huh?
Yeah,
yes, and
but you can't do any different building or anything.
Yeah.
That lot 3 in the back is 4 acres, you're not gonna build on.
So what you're saying is so there's an empty, there's a field that's in front of all them, right?
Mhm.
Right,
Is that part of what they're using?
yes,
Yeah, that field in front of them is owned, it's a long, narrow field.
that's this long skinny thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay.
So what they're gonna do is they're gonna extend their lot lines east and west up to the road.
Roadway. So they'd
Okay.
have access to the highway, the Travis and Anderson, Randy Anderson.
Well, they're trying to have access to the highway, however, the this driveway,
That they have back
For that
here.
silo.
Goes off at Elm Road.
yeah,
doesn't it?
this driveway
driveway.
over here is gonna be eliminated, and they're gonna put a new driveway here.
So this one goes
Oh.
away,
Yeah,
they still come
Yeah,
in
you
here,
only have one.
and then they'll
One
have
driveway
one
and the
coming
highway.
there.
Okay.
and see, and then
Okay.
they're gonna give it easement. This lot will have an easement.
Cause then what about this other road then? Or the other
This
driveway?
Randy Anderson will have an easement? Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's gotta give an
And
easement. to
Easement to
say-
get to them.
Yeah, an
Okay.
access easement,
Mhm.
Yep.
yeah,
Mhm.
But I think that's relation,
Yes,
right?
son.
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, it's his son.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, grandfather, yeah.
I mean, but that's not gonna, I don't see anything wrong with that.
Yeah. And the hearing won't happen until December 13th anyway, but so what I did, but you reviewed it, and our decision tonight is to either support it or deny it. And so the question, so I'll make a motion to support the recommendation of the petition for variance for the 3 parcels. And I would be the second for that.
I second that.
Motion by Roy, second by Jason. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so we have 3 to 4. And no, no. Mhm.
Gina, it's quite the swimming pool you guys are putting in over by you. My God.
Yes, it is.
Good night, all.
You
Good
guys
night.
have boat races out there or something? Huh?
Get a fence around as fast as we can.
Probably got a complaint of a white truck there on Friday, huh? That was us.
Oh,
We drove down and we had to go see this new operation happening here. So
Now, is that a new digestive one
No, where?
at the end of that cove?
No, that's a
is that
manure
a
pit.
highway?
That's a
Is it
pit,
pit?
yeah,
Open pit?
yeah, it's, well, it'll be above ground,
Do you have this
well,
document?
kind of above.
Yes,
ground.
I do.
It'll be all concrete.
It'll be yeah, the wall.
Okay,
the wall-
yes.
You need to sign.
Yes.
Rebar wall,
Yeah, yeah,
but that's gonna be an open pit, it's not a covered.
right, no,
collector
right,
digester.
right, so pit,
I'll get that sent in tomorrow.
Okay.
That's huge.
huge.
Okay, moving on,
Never mind.
moving on to broadband. The internet for connect, did everyone get this invitation that on October 25th? That's gonna be a whole day affair
In Wausau.
in Wausau. I did, and so I did register for it.
I'm aware of that. Are you going?
No, I'm going virtually.
You can go over.
Yeah, that's, I'm on a virtual, so I can't take it all, and I have a meeting in the morning, but I'm gonna come back home and click it on, and it goes from 8:30 to 5 o'clock.
Before in the afternoon, 8:30.
My ticket says 8:30 to 5,
They're advertising this till 4.
okay.
So.
So,
I'm looking at this.
okay,
Oh, no, that's something, internet for all.
yeah, internet.
Oh, you're right. Date and time, 8:35.
Yeah, so
Free, register here,
it's,
maybe.
so if you want to be there virtually, you sure can go. If you want to take a road trip, you sure can go. But that's on the 25th, and that's on a Tuesday,
Yeah,
on the next Tuesday.
next week.
But I plan to, so Ruth, did you see that email, Ruth?
Yes, I did, but I was too busy. I didn't.
You still on your, is it still on your,
No, I'm all caught up with stuff now.
did you erase it already?
I don't think so.
Okay, take a look at that. I erased mine after I got my ticket. I erased it because,
Well, I looked at that, I've been
Yeah,
doing
that's
an
what's
awful lot of things with the website and some
Yeah,
other
yeah.
stuff, so.
Did you see
and I
that?
saw
Or you
that,
maybe
and I thought,
didn't
oh,
get
wow.
For the,
It's for
Wisconsin.
broadband.
yeah,
Wisconsin.
it's all, everything for broadband Wisconsin, and then, like I say,
And all the program in dollars and how they're gonna go about it, and, you know.
Let's see that.
When did
link.
it come?
Was it the-
I didn't get that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Wisconsin County Association.
Oh, here it is.
Yeah,
Important
yeah.
ARPA uniform guidance update? No.
No.
that was from the letter from Wisconsin Town
Wisconsin Town
Association, and then you
Association,
just
yeah.
clicked on
Oh, okay, for the convention.
See.
No,
No.
Important update on
Okay,
the-
you just clicked on it.
recent.
I wonder if there's a date on here. I mean, on that it was sent out.
This.
No,
Oh, here, Tom's bipartisan infrastructure law? No,
no.
Well,
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
it's added to that one?
it's connecting Wisconsin kickoff, internet for all.
And then you just, to register, just click on here, and that's what I did, and so I'm registered. If you can make it, that would be great to do, that gives us more information you got, the better it is.
They had some stuff with elections on here, so. See that?
Oh, yeah, it's here.
It's from the
What
town
date?
association.
What
That
date?
that is the one I was looking at, that's Friday or 10/14, I think it was sent.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Click here,
It was sent last week.
yep, here it is.
Mhm. Yeah, virtually then.
Yeah.
Yeah. October 14th.
I don't think I had it yet.
You should have.
It's out there.
It's out there.
Yeah,
I
it's
got it.
on Wisconsin, and then you click down where it says here. Wisconsin, let's see. Here, Wisconsin Town Association, right here.
Oh, I think I just,
Yeah. Anyway, sometimes I don't always
right
open
here,
those.
that's it?
Yeah. mhm.
Well, there's a lot of
Yeah,
information
and then
flying
click down
around,
where
and
it says here.
it's nice to try to keep up.
Oh, okay.
And
It just
this
Click on
one
there,
here
and this all comes
appears
up.
to me being
Okay.
interesting because
It's gonna have the Public Service Commission as well as their broadband office. They're gonna be talking about funding, you know. How they're gonna go about it, how they're planning to go about it.
So, but
You'll probably get more information from that than from around here, you
That's-
know.
That's exactly
The
what I
whole
thought.
area,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
Thinking that's
exactly
probably a good
what-
idea.
more ideas too.
Yeah.
now, on getting a local broadband, now we're sending out a survey and, like I mentioned, I think, when on a road trip, I said, we only had 33 people so far send in this broadband survey for the town of Forestville.
Mhm.
Brussels had 24, Union had 37, but you take Gardner had 67, Gibraltar 152, Jacksonport 322, Claybanks had 97. So we don't have that heavy interest on broadband in our township.
I gave them out at the elections.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. I saw that. I saw
And there's a
it.
notice on the
Mhm, on the
website.
website.
And, so,
I think a lot of people have, I mean,
Internet. they're
internet, they can,
Happy with
yeah,
it.
they can, most of the people in Forestville area, I think, have pretty decent.
There's a few places where it's
Oh,
real
Yeah,
poor.
yeah, I know Monica
Yeah.
Nelson always complains
But that's
hers
on
is
that.
really bad.
Yeah, it's on that,
Mhm.
it's towards
Mhm.
Claybanks, yeah.
Mhm, mhm.
And that's the challenge.
well, Sevastopol has submitted a request for performance on broadband this week. They've done that, so.
Uh-huh.
So everybody's working a little bit on that, but that's the information I have on broadband, unless everybody else has something about that. And American Rescue, that leads us into the American Rescue Plan update. There's no more information that I have. Do you
No,
have any room
no.
on that?
No.
And invasive species, I think we're done spraying for the year right now,
Yeah.
so we can move on from that. Last month, we got a letter from town of Washington Island and asking us that we write to the Wisconsin United States Fish and Wildlife Service to have them change their direction on what they're doing at Pilot Island. I was gonna bring this up to our unit meeting in November to discuss that.
No.
They've done a real good job.
Yeah, isn't that something? Is that something in that's Tasmania Island?
Since the Fish and Wildlife Service took it over.
Now, our facility director, Wayne Spreckhoff, was with the Coast Guard at that time, and he was the one that, got the area ready to turn over to the USDA, United States Fish and Wildlife Service. I think, from our standpoint, you think we should write a letter to
A letter of support.
support?
Yeah, and that's what, kind of, Washington Island Sportsman's Club is asking for. They're asking for, support, a letter of support, simple as we support the
Mhm.
club in their petition. And I think, if just looking at the before and after picture and the information that we got from the Sportsman's Club, it, to me, painfully obvious that, it no longer looks like a Door County attraction.
No, it's strictly for cormorants.
Correct.
Yeah, that's their.
And they would like to restore it to
Yeah.
its, normal habitat, or natural habitat. instead of just letting it being taken over by the birds. I think we should just, a simple letter say support. I would agree with that. I think that you've got a group there that wants to do something about it, but they need to have support in their petition, so I see no reason why not. Will you need a motion on that?
Yeah.
Well, I'd make a motion that we just send a letter of support
To Washington, to the,
to the Sportsman's Club, because that's who I think that's what they asked for. A letter of support could be as simple as we support the club of August 25th at her email address at the Fish and Wildlife Service, as well as this Charles Woolley at the Fish and Wildlife Service with a copy to the SaveThePilotIsland.com website.
okay,
So
I second that.
I'm in support of it. Who's like that? That's good.
and the letter would go to Washington, DC.
So there's it's in the letter. It's here's where.
Okay, we'll get that, I'll send that down to there. Okay, I contacted and sent this information to Destination Door County to John, rather. And so he said, thank you, he's giving that on his schedule. So.
So you'll take care of the letter then?
Yes.
Okay,
So
great. Thanks.
We have a motion on the floor, support, all those in favor,
Jason.
please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried. Yeah. Okay, and then we got an update on our website and the HayGov website, that's been updated.
Well, and I did some more on it today. If you go to the website, I found the necessary elements that were missing with regard to the payment. Last month, I showed you the website with or last week.
Last week.
Yeah, and when I logged into that, and you had questions about, well, do they see all of this stuff? I was logged in as the administrator. So there's a couple of things here that I want to bring out. One is that if you, now Jason, Ruth, Dina, you've all sent email to us or messages or texts or something. There's a tree down in there's a hole in the road, there's garbage on the road, whatever. And we have a feature in the website of report an issue. And now, if you logged into that HayGov and you went to the digital services on our website, if you were logged into that website as an elected official with your Forestville town.wi.gov email address, you then get into the administrative side of it. So you're inside, you're looking at all of the information on that HayGov. How many things have been registered, who's rented the town hall, what has somebody paid, all of that. If you go in with a private email address, like Larry@huber.net or our Kircher, Century Tel, whatever. If you go in with your private email address, look at the website, and then click on that digital services, you will find you will have an opportunity to go and report an issue. If you report the issue, it'll come up with a form. It'll say, what is it that you want to report? And you can attach a picture. Now, we haven't gotten any information from anybody in that manner. But as board members, I think if we spot things and we want the rest of the board to be aware of it, I mean, if you sent me the email, fine, I got it. Or if you sent it to Roy, he got it. Or if you didn't send it to Jason, we all don't know what's happening. If you report those issues on the website as a reportable issue, then we would all get a notice. Just like when Ruth takes and adds somebody to, or somebody adds a reservation for the town hall, you get a notice. When somebody makes a payment, you get the notice. And that's gonna become real useful, I think, for a lot of people. So I think we should practice playing with that a little bit. If we spot things and we want the rest of the board to be aware of it, don't have to send it to Ruth and ask her to forward the thing, just say, reporting an issue here. Yeah, it'll be out there for the public to see, but then we also have an option to go in as our administrative user and say, we're working on it, it's concluded, this is what went on with it, take care of it. And then people have insight into the fact that we in fact have been doing things with it. That's one thing. The other thing is that the website itself has now got the option for people to subscribe to times when we post things like special meetings or regular meetings, when we add minutes for the meetings. When you post that, Ruth, you have to go and send out a separate notice to a list of people. If we put that list of people who have already requested to be notified, I can add that into the distribution list. Once you've got the minutes or the
Approved.
agenda
Oh,
and you've sent it and we get the stuff on the bottom for the meeting, all I have to do is say, put it on the website, click, and it will automatically generate an email to the individuals who we put on that list for distribution. And anybody else who wanted to receive things like that, they could go in there and self-subscribe, so that when we do post minutes, it'll automatically just go out and you wouldn't have to create a separate email. My concern always has been when we distribute things like the minutes of the meeting or an agenda, if we send it out in Word format, then people can make changes to that document. If we send it out only in PDF format as a result of it being posted on our website, then that PDF file is the one that goes out and not an editable document. So that's some new stuff that's just a part of this redesign. And then today, an hour and a half ago, before the meeting, I got a notice that they have now generated an instruction manual. How to maintain this new website. It's 25 pages in length. So, you know, what did I do when we first got into the website? I went with you, I said, see, here's how we can do this. And I gave you the login information, so you have it, you have it, and I have it, and neither one of you have done anything with it, which is okay, because it has been up until this point rather complex. This thing is significantly different, and there's a manual that says, oh, how do you edit the library? How do you add items? How do you post this stuff? Where do you put news? How do you put this stuff out? Well, how do I set this up? So that if I'm not doing it or something happens to me, there's a manual now that makes it easy for anybody to pick up and go with. I know you were reticent to work with QuickBooks at first. You were reticent to work with the calendar at first. But quite frankly, what you said last week was, it's a whole lot better now that we have those tools. And so you're doing a good job with that calendar function. I mean,
yeah, every time somebody calls, I run upstairs in my office and I put it on.
but you also can get a
But
text.
can you can't tell them to go on the website and do it? You
I
still,
suppose
they
I
still
could,
call you?
Sure,
Yeah,
sure.
Instead of you doing it, why don't you ask them? I
Yeah,
mean, some
yeah.
of them won't, but if
But
they
those-
understand
Yeah.
why, the
But
more
once
they
they-
do it, the less you'll have to do
you know,
it.
they've been doing it all the time. They come pick up the key and they pay me, you know.
Right,
That's,
right.
and they're used to that. What I kind of wonder too, if they pay and then, you know, 2 months later they cancel, well, then we would have to write a check or reverse their charge. Yeah. Yeah.
It can be reversed on there.
Mhm,
The only thing
okay.
they lose then is
Is
the
there,
payment
right,
fee,
right. Mhm.
which is a insignificant amount, quite frankly, 2% or something like that.
Yeah.
So, I think that I realize that this is something a lot of people are not accustomed to.
Right,
or
it's,
do that.
it would be new for them too.
It would be new
Right.
for them,
Mhm,
but I think as people start to use this, they'll find the convenience.
mhm.
Because it came up with that question you came up with a month or two ago about paying for culvert
Mhm,
work. And I went out and asked for it, boom, it's there, you
Yeah.
know? And so for me, it makes sense that if we, number one, can use it to do things like reporting situations,
Mhm, mhm.
we all run into them, but we just kind of either handle them or let somebody know.
Mhm.
But if we did it through that facility in the digital services tab on our website, then it would start to become much more of a usable thing and others would see it.
Well, how do I get the Hey Gov to send me a message to my phone, like, make it like a text message where it comes alive and says, hey, you got something at Hey Gov? Is that possible?
Sure,
Okay.
but you right now you get notification via email.
Right, I mean, but I go into my email and do it that way. Otherwise, if I go like here, if I go right to my Hey Gov, one thing I did notice, what I do like, if I just click on my app, it'll pop up with my little bell up there telling me there's something going on, and I click on my bell and it'll tell you these are the things that are happening.
Right.
So, I mean, that's okay. I mean, but then I would, usually like on a text message, you got little icon up here pops up saying you got a
Oh,
new
you have a
message, or,
message.
that's.
I
kind of
can
what I was
work with
hoping.
you on that, Jason.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
So to me, this will become much more usable because how many of us are using this for messaging back and forth?
All the time.
I am too.
Yeah.
And there's places where they don't even want to hear me from you when I talk.
This is the zombie apocalypse, you realize that? We all wander around like zombies staring at our phones all day. I mean,
But that's how businesses function
Right.
today.
Right.
You know, it's text messaging. And if the text messaging alerts you that you need to do something for a payment or for a reservation or whatever, so be it.
yeah,
If they go online and make a reservation to rent the town hall, that then automatically populates and you don't have to do key. It's no different than working out of two sets of books.
Right,
And this way now you're all in one. It's just a centralization of it.
mhm,
So I had, when we talked on the road review, we talked a little bit about that banner across the bottom. You said, gee, it'd be nice if we had the picture of the town hall. It's, I sent him a text. 6 minutes later, I got a message back. It's already there. Okay, thanks, good idea. Boom, done. I mean, it's just, oh, okay, great.
but we want that picture of the town hall after it's recited.
It's now the way it looks that people see it now.
do a before and after,
Use your imagination.
a before and after. we'll-
Once we get the new siding, we'll take a picture of it and we'll replace that old picture with the new picture.
So it's got some nice CGI effects on here. We can make our town hall really look dazzling.
These are photographs of what exists.
We're building,
And no, there will not be snow in the lower portion. That's all I have.
okay, Larry, keep on plugging it.
I think it's going well myself. I mean, they're very responsive. They're putting in place tools that makes it very easy. Whole lot better than it had been.
Moving on to our road review, and we looked for stones in the road, we found some, so Jason's gonna pick those up, but we did not find the multitude that
No,
Joe mentioned that he had.
Nope.
Things we did learn though, we learned that there was an extensive building project over on Old Elm Road. And one of the things we learned here, guys, is that in the future, we should have a review with the owners of a memorandum of understanding. You do that with big manufacturing companies when they do a building, as far as taking a video of the road, and if there's any damage to the road, that they are liable for that. And so this construction site on Old Elm Road, that's a huge construction site, so we have notated that if there's any damage, we notated the condition of the road, it's in good shape right now, but there's a lot more concrete trucks coming down.
Yeah.
My good gosh.
Yes.
Certainly be compacted, that's for sure.
Good thing we put 4 inches of blacktop in.
Yes.
But my goodness, how many tons of, how many yards of concrete is that project?
I don't know, but I don't know.
It's huge.
I haven't walked, well, I took pictures when they first started. No, I haven't been back there for probably a week and a half.
Who built that road for you?
Jane,
What a beautiful.
Yes, gorgeous road.
yeah,
Valley,
can't imagine what it cost us, but yeah, it was gorgeous.
yeah. So, wow,
Yeah, it's something that needed to be done,
yeah, there's a town hall, yeah.
because they were trying to go through the middle of the yard, and it just wasn't happening with all the stuff that was coming through.
So, and, all 3 buildings have added on the front and the back, is that what we saw?
Well, there was only 2 there before. The one in the middle is brand
Oh,
new.
that's new, brand new, the one in the middle, brand new, okay.
Yeah, it's brand new.
That's-
So the one in the middle is brand new. The one that's closest to the parlor, the back end is being taken down,
Oh,
and
Oh,
because whoever originally told us that it would work was wrong. So our pitch was not right. So now we had to disassemble the first half of the barn
that's what's going on. We thought. we
and
were
start
adding
over.
on.
Mhm,
So you're disassembling and then reassembling?
mhm.
Wow. But you've added onto the front.
Yeah, we added onto both fronts. Yeah. Yeah, it's a project that cost us way more than we anticipated.
so in other words, what the school presented us tonight was peanuts.
Yeah. Peanuts.
So what's gonna happen with the big fiberglass jersey? Where did that go?
Oh, she's sitting in Dan Toyne's barn right now.
I asked you where that was gonna go.
Yeah.
We're having a problem with-
Yeah, it's sitting in Dan Toyne's building right now, but we are working with landscaper to
Mhm.
make a new, and she'll probably be sitting right by the parlor office,
Okay.
but we're discussing that with Sue.
Mm.
So I got a landscaper, maybe they can get through.
That's pretty, yeah, that's, I was just amazed, at the project, wow.
Yeah, and the purifying water, where we're trying to clean our water is still on, they're still
Did,
going ahead.
did Kennard's farm get movement on that?
Yep, I believe so.
Because they were supposed to be all done by 2022.
Oh, I don't think
Which
that's
kindergarten?
gonna happen.
The big one.
Big
out
one,
there?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, they wanna have a building up yet this fall
Okay,
by us. I
Yeah,
don't know
that's-
if that's
that
gonna
just-
happen or not. but
okay, so that's still, not yet in 2022, a building.
You wanted to
Building,
try
we
it, so
wanna
I
get
tried it
building.
real quick so you could get the
Yep.
message.
Wow, yeah. What was it? Just simply 311 requested to be found. We have 3 lives in the one, oh, that field, oh, okay.
Then the message that came from a fellow by the name of Jason.
Jeez. Well, don't pick the darn things up then. You see?
The other question I have is, so down by the mill pond, we have signs on the west side of the road that says do not park.
No
They
parking.
still park
I
there.
went down there that day.
They left
Yeah, they
right after
did.
I talked to you.
They no sooner.
They
got-
park on the east side all the way. I mean, they're always parked on the east side now, because there's no signs there.
There's no signs there and they're leaving half their vehicle in the road.
Yes,
And I went down there to go after that and they were gone.
yes. I went down, just as it was getting dark last Saturday night. And there was 3 or 4 of them pulled right behind each other.
Right, but
On
they
that
can't
road.
get off of the road totally.
They can,
Yeah, I thought it was on.
Well.
yeah, it depends. It depends.
It depends on what they're driving.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's always wheels on the road
And with us coming through,
with equipment.
it really, yeah,
Yeah.
it's,
That's a 20-foot, that's a 20-foot road. Yeah.
so I don't know, why did we not, is that the town? Is that the village on that side?
No, we're, this town road all the way up to where it not very far from the intersection. It's, you can see where the. chip
So you
seal
just
stops.
left that side thinking that they could park in that
Yes,
ditch?
give them an option. I think it'd be a little hard to deny them parking on that side. We had the problem where they were parking on both sides of the road and they couldn't get through.
Right,
And there's no room to park on the west side.
right.
And so we.
And it's fine if they stay off the road, but a lot of them are on the road.
Cause at one time they were parked on both sides and the one fire truck could not get through.
Yeah.
And that's why.
Actually, that's
decided
what we did.
Yeah.
One side at least.
Right.
So.
The problem is if you're meeting a car
Mhm.
and we're coming through with the equipment,
One.
yeah,
Yeah.
you aren't gonna get through there with them parked on the other side either.
Well, maybe the reconfiguration of the county with their newly acquired land.
That's,
That-
no, like I mentioned, that new parcel, they're not gonna blacktop that little spot that is not there right now. It's, they're gonna make the driveway straight to the road from where the blacktop is, so you.
So that roughly is gonna be made back in their
Lawn, yeah, there'll be stones along the south side of the, and then there'll be some, so that you can cut across there, yeah.
Oh, and they have to revisit that.
Yeah.
Whole thing.
Mhm.
As far as what we did find on our road review, we got a lot of dead trees, and back in February. We approved picking 8 trees on the south side of Geyer Road, right by the dump area. Jason.
Mhm.
And then we approved getting rid of 5 leaning trees over over on top of the dump. And then 2 ash trees on Mile Road. We did that. I never called them to, but we approved that back on May 16th. Now, we found that on Mill Road, south of 8 to Old Elm, that's the area over here, there's a lot of brush there, but that's not critical. But the critical brush that we have is on East Center, which is west of North Carnet, that we got some really bad trees there. And also, we have on Maplewood Road, you see those every day, we got 2 leaning trees that are, and 2 dead trees, that's critical. So those are the 2 critical areas, I believe we have to do something. And I would entertain a motion to go out for contact Mark Krieger and get an estimate what it would take to remove that brush, those trees on East Center, and also the one on Maplewood Road that we have a problem with.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we contact Krieger to give us an estimate on that.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Okay. To contact, and I'll try and get a hold of them.
Are they pretty big trees?
No,
No, it's all small.
well, yeah, there's one big tree on East Center Road is a big tree.
Okay.
And then there's another one that's a dead tree, but they're gonna break out.
Most of them are smaller.
Yeah, yeah, the ones on Maple Road are smaller, but
Right.
there's 2 leading, they're gonna break down. So I'll contact them on that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll get an estimate, that'd be good.
On that, and as far as our evaluations, we had some roads that went down, not too bad, but summer was pretty good for us this year. We had a dry summer, not too much rain, so even our gravel roads that we had are in good shape. But anytime you see, we have 2 gravel roads, one on East Elm, Old Elm on the west side, very end, and then on Mill Road, the very end over here, you see that pothole, please get a hold of me, and we can get gravel on there. On that. So that's the information, so,
There was a motion, but who seconded the motion?
I did.
Okay,
So that's, we did vote on
Okay.
it. Did we?
Yeah.
We voted. So again, we will look again in spring for stones on the road, but we only found those in that one area on North Carolina.
Not what I had expected to see.
On it. So, we're going to be having a meeting. And I don't think it involves, all of us, but the State Department, DOT, talks about replacing the culverts north of County Road X at the intersect, and then also just south of the intersection of the town of Forestville.
On Highway
42, yeah.
Yeah, I saw
You
that,
saw that? I don't have a day yet.
Yeah.
That's coming.
but that was gonna be for town officials only.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
let us know, they're gonna fix that.
wasn't there, a date that you had to choose?
Yeah, and November first, second, third.
Yeah,
or October
yeah, okay.
31st.
You didn't hear from them?
I didn't hear it from there. I'd like to eat
I don't
something.
know if you're supposed to reply, maybe?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, you did?
I
Okay,
did.
okay.
I replied. yeah.
All right.
Another thing that's coming up the pike here is that we have a new corporate council for Door County. And the corporate council says that snow removal agreements by private individuals is something that the county cannot do. The county could not blacktop, put asphalt, and the same thing holds true for snow removal. So our highway commissioner is going to be sending a letter to all our people that have contracts with the county for removing their snow, but it's 2 inches or more. And right now, we only have one like that. We do have, yes, I'm sorry, we have two of them. We have two of them like that. The rest of them are based on sand driveway if requested. And we have 1, 2, 3 like that. The question I have, what they informed me is that if it's an emergency, like plows have to get, the ambulance has to get there, then the county can come up and do the work. But was not permissible is to have them plow a driveway and then at the end of the season, submit a bill. And then we would get one bill for the snow removal. That is not gonna happen anymore. The other, but the thing I haven't cleared right now is if we have an ice storm, are they going to be sanding?
Private driveways,
Well,
because there's
Calls
calls for that.
Yeah, there's a call for that. And this, I don't know. I don't know what the final decision on that is, because we have S&S, we got Babbler, and we got Sleepy Hollow that have that request. We got those three. So I don't know that question yet.
Okay, when you do find out, let me know, because we might have to come up with our own.
Or your own, or else, I don't know, there's some private individuals around that might do it, but
Yeah, I don't know.
we'll see what the letter comes out.
Okay.
But that's,
That'll be up to the highway department. Really.
yeah.
I'll talk to Jerry.
Well, I recall when we had to get the plow up there, grader out there to plow the driveway because the man needed fuel oil or bottled gas, actually. Dina, the other thing I have is that, we were supposed to get a credit of $638.41. I could not come up that we got that. I came up, we only got a $608.26. Did you figure that one out?
No. I guess I didn't know the exact amount that was supposed to be.
Well, these are the emails that Jennifer sent me, and then I went through that thing, and I highlighted in yellow the negative things where we got credits. You can look on the rest of it. And I couldn't find out where we got more money, but
Do you remember seeing anything?
because we were charged at $638, that's what was the.
We were charged for the culvert, but they didn't give us the full amount back.
Well, you try and figure it out, and I couldn't figure it out in that.
This billing is really hard to read.
Yes, and especially like that, where you're supposed to get a credit.
Yeah,
So if you'd like to contact Jen, or if you can, I'd appreciate that.
okay.
There's like 5 something and then it was something added to
There's
it,
here's a 532.81 credit,
right?
Yeah.
and then it had 1196
Yeah, they-
for labor. Culvert. All in the culvert. All right, I can see what I can find out, but you sure it was what it should have been was what'd you say, 638.41, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's what we should have been, and I couldn't figure out where we got it. I thought we were a little late on that. I don't. If
Okay.
if it was only
Yeah, I
about
just-
$2 or $3, I would.
yeah, but it
Yeah,
looks
but
like
that's
it's 30
$20 bill.
something, yeah,
Maybe we should go after that.
okay, let me see what I can find out.
Anything else in roads that anybody has discussing right today? And next we have the payment of bills.
That starts on September 20th, CenturyLink, CenturyTel, whatever it's called. Or Bright something, no,
Right
Right,
Right speed.
Bright Speed. I got an email saying that this amount of money is coming out of your checking account. I'm like,
Right speed.
Who are
what
you?
is that?
Wait a minute.
I had to look it up online.
Yeah, they send the little message. Stub, as a matter of fact. What's gross maintenance? Is it grass maintenance?
Probably.
I'm just curious.
Where do you see that?
It's check number 16,585. But it's town hall.
Oh, yeah.
gross
Oh, it is
maintenance.
gross maintenance, town hall. Gross maintenance, it's, yeah, for
Well, we
the, for
got
everything
gross-
maintenance
We got
and.
gross elections.
Yeah.
Uh,
Government gross, yeah, that's how they put it in the.
Yeah, I know. It just always catches
One, two.
my attention. It's interesting, that's all.
I have 8 poll workers next month.
Yeah, I see that,
Mm.
some of them are splitting
Yeah.
days.
Monica and Joanne are splitting, and
Mhm.
then Ellen and Barb and Diane, no, not Diane, George are splitting 3 though.
Yeah,
The one,
three of them splitting,
yeah. See, Ellen and George and Diane Slivka are on the Democratic list. They pay dues, so they're on the list. I have to use them. So there's 2, I have to use 2 of the Democrats and the other 3 Republicans, or non, you know.
Amazes me.
Mhm. It just changed, you know, it makes a big difference.
What was that insurance audit?
Oh, that was for the workman's comp.
Workman's comp.
What was
Well,
it,
that's an
28?
annual affair.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I'm thinking of who's doing that audit? The young lady, you know her.
I think she's coming to our place next week.
Okay.
Oh,
Or
Well,
this
I-
week, actually this week.
Well, actually, I do I do it and I send it in and then they check it over and then
Okay.
they send you what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, they say.
So if our, you
yeah,
know.
if what your premium was paid was not
Mhm,
enough,
mhm, Right,
they
right,
asked for more, and if it was too much.
right,
they
for
give you a
labor or
little bit
anything,
back.
it's a little higher than what.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's just a procedural thing.
Yeah,
Let's
oh, yeah,
run into that one.
every year.
Very
Audit.
Yep.
I make a motion, we pay the bill.
Motion to pay the bills in a second.
I second that.
Motion by Larry, second by Jason to pay the bills. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
All right.
Opposed, we are staying directed. And we have any announcements to make? I know there's an election coming up on
Yeah,
the 8th of November. Ruth, any problems with that coming up?
no, it's been pretty busy though. I have probably about 60 ballots out,
Okay,
absentee, and they'll be starting now, the 25th is when they can come to the house to vote.
mhm.
So
And,
it's going good.
very good. And the next future meetings, items to be discussed, I'm sure we're gonna be talking about the fire department. We'll have more information on that in November. And next board meeting is going to be November 21st. And that'll be after the budget hearing, and the budget hearing starts at 6:30.
Mhm.
When you're gonna have to get me notice, the budget that we worked on.
Yeah, I have it here. I revised it a little bit
Well,
because,
yeah.
yeah. Mhm,
But-
because we had
but,
to work it. I'll get
In
that,
the past, there's just a published,
just a summary, yeah.
the summary,
Mhm.
but then for a packet, we put the entire piece out there so people can.
Yes,
read it.
yes,
And
and I
I
have it
normally
here.
see that at your, it says come to you.
Mhm, yeah, I'll
Contact.
pull it up.
Okay,
Mhm,
just so I get that in time to get it up on the
Mhm,
website.
mhm.
that's all.
okay.
And that's a single, basically, it's, we turn that into,
I can. take it
there,
out.
there's the notice for the budget hearing, but then there's a notice for the town board meeting, so it's two notices.
Right, right.
Yeah,
yes,
okay.
mhm.
Just so I understand, thank you.
Okay, if there's no further business to be conducted at this time, a motion to adjourn.
I so move.
I'll second that.
Motion made, second by Larry, McPherson, second by Larry, to adjourn. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
8:28.
Aye. We are adjourned, and now we will work on the
Finish the
Work
budget,
session.
yeah.